What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Wednesday, May 12th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Robert Williams, if he plays, Keldon Johnson, DeMar DeRozan, Luka Doncic, and Kyle Kuzma on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we are going to the Lakers and grabbing shooting guard KENTAVIOUS CALDWELL-POPE. KCP is 4,200, projected for 26. The goal is 34. He's in the optimal lineup 23% of the time. Now, I have KCP playing 36 minutes because I am going with the assumption that Alex Caruso does not play after leaving yesterday's game early, and I'm assuming that Anthony Davis also does not play. He was a little dinged up yesterday. They're taking on the Houston Rockets. Better safe than sorry. So 36 minutes of 0.72 KCP, 15% usage, 14 points, 3 boards, 2.5 assists, a steal. He doesn't do a ton, but it's a matchup against the Houston Rockets. Houston's absolutely terrible. The Lakers are monster favorites, even missing a bunch of guys. I like the value of KCP just because they're shorthanded. He will, for all intents and purposes, be the point guard of the Lakers today. I at least like it if the ball is going to be in his hands. And at 4,200, I just can't turn him down. I don't like the fact that he's only shooting guard eligible, but it doesn't really matter. If I'm right and there's no Caruso and no AD, the minutes will rule here. Next up at number 4, we're going to small forward, power forward eligible Kevin Durant. He is 9,800, projected for 52.5. The goal is 56, and he is in the optimal lineup 27% of the time. Durant should play big minutes here. I don't think we see Kyrie Irving, but it probably doesn't matter. But I do think we see James Harden. I don't think that we see both of those guys, though. And if either one of them is on, it's kind of the same projection for me right now. Kyrie got dinged up yesterday. I'm guessing he sits here. 38 minutes for Durant. Just shy of 1.4 fantasy points per minute. That's 33% usage and 31 real points. Plus 7 boards. Plus almost 6 assists and 2 stocks. Now, it's a pace neutral spot against San Antonio. And the Spurs defense is solid, but they don't really have anybody set up to handle Kevin Durant. They're just good at the rim because of Jakob Poeltl. But KD should not be sub 10K. And the fact that you can roster him at small forward or power forward makes it even better. Anytime you can get a sub 10K guy like Kevin Durant, just take him. Next up at number 3, we're going to shooting guard small forward eligible Evan Fournier. You know how I love that eligibility. 5,500. Is the price tag. 34 fantasy point projection. The goal is 39. He's in the optimal lineup 28% of the time. Now, as I mentioned, I didn't mention this yet. That was the FanDuel video. No Jaylen Brown, obviously, but I'm assuming Kemba Walker sits out here on the back-to-back, which means I think that there's more usage to go around for Fournier. And you're getting that usage at shooting guard, small forward, guard forward, utility. 36 minutes, 0.94 fantasy points per minute, 22% usage. That's basically his normal rate. We're talking 19 points, 3.5 boards, 4 assists, maybe a steal. Now, it's a pace-down matchup against Cleveland, but Cleveland stinks, so that actually helped it out a little bit. Fournier's starting to find his footing in Boston, and I think that he'll be able to find it a little bit more with no Kemba Walker on the floor. And the fact that you can roster him in so many different places, he will be an asset all day, no matter what news comes out. Now at number 2, we're going to point guard eligible only TRAE Young. He is 9,100, projected for 50. The goal is 53.5, and he is in the optimal lineup 28% of the time. You don't get a pace-up matchup better than this. The Hawks gain 5.6 possessions over their average by taking on the Wizards. That's basically an extra 3 or more fantasy points for TRAE Young. I've got him in at 1.43 fantasy points per minute in 35 minutes. That's 33% usage and a double-double. 28 points and 10 assists plus 4 boards. Maybe you fall into a steal or 2. That would be amazing. But you are here for the shot volume and the pace of the game. I see no other way around it. TRAE Young will be near the top of this list all day. And as more news comes out, it will get even easier to pay $9,100 for TRAE Young. Now, before we get to that number 1 contender, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. then please follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. It's the only place you're going to find the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And really, that's what you're here for. They look great in the morning. They look even better at 6 p.m. Finally, let me know in the comment section underneath this video. I want your favorite contender, your least favorite contender, and the guy that you think should be a part of my top 10. And finally, my number one contender for today's slate, that's power forward Jayson Tatum. He's 9,400, projected for 53. The goal is 54.5, and he is in the optimal lineup 34% of the time. I think Tatum's got to do it all here with no Jaylen Brown and what I'm expecting to be no Kemba Walker. So I gave him 38 minutes. And the big usage bump that he gets when those guys are off the floor puts him at 1.4 fantasy points per minute. That's 35% usage, by the way. 32 real points, 7.5 boards, 5 assists, 2 stocks. Now, as I mentioned for Fournier, it is a pace down spot, but it's Cleveland. Jayson Tatum's not worried about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're one of the worst teams in basketball. I think he smacks them around. You wish he had the small forward eligibility as well, so that does limit him slightly, but it doesn't limit him all that much because he is still the number one contender for today's slate. Go get yourself some Jayson Tatum. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Wednesday, May 12th. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. Strategy show, 10 a.m. with Lofty, breaking down all 6 games. Should be a fun one. FanDuel version of this video is around here somewhere, and I'll be on live before lock tonight with Greg Ehrenberg. Good luck tonight, everybody. I will be back again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.